Alright, so we just cleaned the fish, and you're probably wondering what are we going to do with the carcass. There's actually a lot of meat on here. This fish has got a big head, so there's actually 2 fillets right there. And it's also got a big belly, so there's a lot of belly meat right there. A lot of people are afraid of the belly meat. You know, they think, oh, well, it's, it holds the guts in or whatever, but you know what? The belly meat on a catfish is actually some of the best eating. It's usually white and flaky, and it tastes really good. So I'll show you how to get that. I'm going to move my other fish aside, and we're going to work on this belly. So at this point, you can just throw your fish away if you wanted to, but we're going to make a little bit of a mess here. So I'm going to wipe it down so it's easier to work with. Get that slime off of there. Get my working area as dry as I can. And we're going to go to town on this bad boy. So we're going to get a little messy here, so if you have a weak stomach, you might want to look away at this time. Essentially what we're going to do is we're going to cut out this whole portion right here. The way we're going to do that, we're going to start right at the top. You can put your finger here and you can feel where there's bone. We'll just start right behind that bone, and we're going to bring that knife down, and you're going to feel resistance here. You're going to feel bones. You're actually hitting the rib cage. We want to follow that rib cage all the way around. So just when you hit that bone down there, and cut just like that. And turn around. We're going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to slice down. It's getting a little messy. I'm going to feel the rib for those ribs, which my knife is right against, so I'm going to cut right along them. Alright. We're just going to make a cut here to detach the whole piece from the fish. And it should pull off. If it doesn't, just cut right through right there. Now we've left most of the guts in the fish, and we've got this piece to work with. Right now you're probably wondering, holy cow, we're going to eat that? Well, I'm going to show you how to clean that right up. So let's get rid of this fish and clean my workspace, and then I'll show you. Alright, so we got rid of that fish carcass, and we're down to this belly meat that we just carved out of that fish. You can tell that's some good meat there. But instead of starting to wash this off right away, I'm going to just dry it off. Dry it off as best as I can. Like I said, that just makes it easier to work with instead of it sliding all around your workspace. Plus it's getting rid of any of that slime that's on there. Alright, so here we go. First thing you want to do is go ahead and take off these fins here. And if you grab it, you can actually feel a bone structure in there. So just kind of feel where it's at, and we're just going to cut that right out. There's nothing fancy with this part. Just literally, I can kind of feel it. It's kind of like a triangle here. We're just going to cut it out. Just like that. We'll just throw that away. And you're left with that. Go ahead and split it. We want to take out the lining from the inside and the skin on the outside. So we're going to use the same technique that we've been using. And if you're kind of wondering, well, how do I get my knife in there? You can always start by cutting a little bit off the end, like so. Expose some of that skin and get your knife under there. Right there, that's some beautiful meat. So same thing with the lining. You're trying to figure out, well, how do I get my knife in there? Just expose some of that skin, peel some of that meat back. There's that lining. The lining's really tender. It's easy to cut right through, so don't put so much pressure against that skin or the lining with your knife. Just kind of ease your knife in there and kind of be gentle. If you lose some meat against that lining, not a big deal. Like so. There's a little meat on there, but that's okay. But now we've got a really nice piece of meat. It's got a little bit of blood on it. If you can't wash it off, just trim it off. Rinse it off. It's a real nice piece of meat, actually. And you know what? I'll just put it into 2 pieces like that. Ready to fry with my other fish. Let's do this other side real quick. I need a little corner to get my knife underneath, so I'm just gonna kind of cut away some of that. If you can see that. Then I'm gonna put my knife under there, start cutting. Just use this hand here to grasp onto that skin. I'm gonna turn around and do this side. Go ahead and get a. You can see how I kind of expose some of that lining by cutting that meat away. Get a finger on there, or a fingernail. Just gently cut. There's that lining that we don't want. There's a nice piece of meat. You can probably wash that blood off, but I'll just trim it right off. It's not going to hurt you, but and I love the belly meat. It's usually tender, white, flaky, and actually it's not nearly as strong in flavor as the rest of the fish.